then you won't get spoken to. People only see you when you up, then they notice you. Trying to be a legend, create lines is quotable. Only the real shall last, and I only know a few. People when they feelings always acting emotional. Ain't about a check, then it ain't negotiable. Gotta show respect to the people that's posting you. Soon to be on posters posted up like the older dudes.
Now we aging like fine wine, how we supposed to do. Peep the shade on the timelines, this time posted cool. Shit is black and white like photos from a disposable. Certain situations you end up uncontrollable. All up in their head, I be so confused. I just brush it off, peep the shoulder moves. We all got the same 24, so it's no excuse. Switch it up, we could rap or produce. The things you can't have is forbidden fruit.
Well, first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your host, Nathan Stella, Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe. Happy Wednesday. This is episode 21 of season 11 of the podcast. And this episode, we are recapping the Washington Commanders beating those Green Bay Packers. But before we get into that, there's a few things I'd like to say up front. The Maryland video, I'll have that recorded so I can go live tomorrow. As far as the other stuff I talked about with the Wizards, Maryland basketball, college football, all those things, they'll be up soon. I'm hoping I can get a preview for the World Series now that it's set in stone. The Houston Astros versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Hopefully at some point during the World Series, I'll have Nicholas Rosario Jr. from Let's Talk Football with me in that. But let's get into this video. The Washington Commanders defeated those Green Bay Packers 23-21. We go on the year 3-4. We did not have Carson Wentz in this game. Backup quarterback Taylor Heinicke was inserted into the starting lineup. And I'm going to look at it from this way. I'm going to start with our defense. I thought we did a great job containing the run game. Coming into this game, I mean, they're already limited when it comes to passing. Randall Cobb just went on the IR. Sammy Watkins was activated. So with a limited offense from Green Bay's perspective, it was already tough, and it made things harder for them on the run game. A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones did not have a great game. They combined 12. They had combined 12 carries for 38 yards. Especially when you allowed the Chicago Bears to rush for almost 240 yards. I thought defensively from the line of scrimmage that we were dominant. We kept their offense off the field. So when we kept them on that 4th and 1, for example, it was at the 37. I was confused as to if it's a 4th and 1, give it to A.J. Dillon or Aaron Jones. That simply wasn't the case. Once again, analytics played a role in that. And it was a pass that was intended for Romeo Dobbs, and was broken up. And then we went down the field and for 9 plays and took a 23-14 lead at that point. We took away the big plays. I think the key to beating Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers is taking away the big plays offensively. Yes, going into this game, he was dealing with a thumb injury, but injuries should not be a factor. He definitely did not have the greatest game. Yes, Aaron, he wasn't sacked, but he was under pressure quite a bit. And all his offensive line did not really do a good job of giving him time in the pocket to look for his receivers downfield. I thought the longest play they had offensively was the 21-yarder to Aaron Jones. I think that was a touchdown pass. But the longest, I think it was the pass to Adam Lazard, which was for 17. Other than that, we made it tough for them. There was the 3 penalties, the late touchdown drive. We made those 3 mistakes, but we did avoid giving up the big plays because that's something that we have allowed the first 7 games, in my opinion. Moving to the offensive side of the ball, I thought the key was winning the battles on third down. We were 7-16, and against arguably the best defense when it comes to third down, which is positive. It's going in the right direction because especially when you look at coming into this game, and 22 attempts, you've only completed 3 third down conversions over 2 weeks. That's embarrassing. Raise your head on that statistic. If I remember correctly, we did not do a good job on the first 4 third downs. There was the one on the 12-yard play touchdown, which was to Antonio Gibson. I thought the last third down was key. I thought that was the game. Green Bay had no timeouts, if I remember correctly. And Kenny Clark, I thought, was going to sack Taylor. He found Terry McLaurin. And that was pretty much the end of the game right there. And it's interesting. Green Bay was 0-6 against us. And coming into this game, they have been the league's best third down stoppers. Yes, painfully. Let's also stick with the Packers a little bit on the offensive side. They need a receiver. It's not easy to replace your stars. That's proven. When you lose a star, it's hard to replace him. They have tried this wide receiver committee, but it has just been disappointing. Injuries have already plagued these guys. Christian Watson was dealing with a hamstring injury. Randall Cobb, like I said, was on IR. Samuel Watkins was just activated. They need somebody, and they've been linked to AJ Green. But again, at his age, you need, especially with you want to get younger. You don't want to keep getting guys that are 30 plus older, and they're kind of falling at the end. At the end, that's why I kind of have some concerns with the signing of Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Jackson for the Baltimore Ravens. Excuse me. They definitely should make a trade. And I thought also too, hey, offensively, they got to be better in the run. I thought that was key. That was glaring. To rush the ball 12 times, only get 38 yards, no touchdowns, that's disgusting. You got to give your guys, that's your bread and butter. That's your Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt almost. Is get those guys going. Didn't see that. For Washington, offensively, I'm going to start with this. Antonio Gibson, I thought, had a great game. Rushed for 59 yards on 10 attempts, caught 3 passes. I think it was about for 18 yards, and also had 3 kick returns for 78 yards. Not bad for a good day for Antonio Gibson. Brian Robinson, again, like I said, now I think by default should be a number one running back, but could be a number 2. That gives Antonio Gibson can be used in different roles. Not like that. Terry McLaurin actually showed a pulse. To to pay a guy that kind of money, he actually showed up. It did start off slow for him, but when it mattered, when I needed him, especially come closing that last, that's like I said, with that play where Kenny Clark almost got Taylor. That's where that's where a star matters. Taylor Heinicke, he had a nice game. He did just enough. I'm still not sold on him, even though I've been argued against that he brings a dynamic style of play to this offense. And I've been trying to make this argument since last year that I don't see anything. If 7 wins as a team is, yes, he actually showed a pulse. I'm sticking with that. No, I'm just kidding. Terry, I don't know if it's just maybe it was just, I don't know, but that's probably one of the best games I've seen him so far in the first 7 games. Let me put it like that. He's been playing that's what I'm looking for from him. Because before, I mean, Dallas, he was shut down. I just think you should still find ways to get your number 1 wide receiver involved. And up until yesterday, there was up and down. That's just, it was inconsistent. Let me say it wasn't consistent. Let me say it like that. But back to Taylor. I need to see another game or two. Yes, he was 20 of 33 with 201 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, but he's 500 as a backup quarterback now, and I already know the narratives that are going to come out. I seen it on Twitter. I've also seen it in some other places where Carson Wentz, this is what you need to know of not making a mistake. And yes, he managed the game well in the second half. Everything to me always cannot fall on the quarterback. This team has enough talent to win games. Now, I'm curious to see what it looks like against Indianapolis. I don't have anything against Taylor Heinicke. I'm just not sold on him. I'm not. I just believe last year he had a chance to prove that he could be the guy, and I didn't see anything. Unless someone else can convince me what I'm seeing different, because I already know when Carson comes off his injury, the narratives are going to be number 1. This is one. Do you stick with Taylor Heinicke as your starter? Let's just say hypothetically, Washington. Let me pull up the schedule. 1 second. I'm gonna pull the schedule up. So we got Indianapolis, right? Then you got Minnesota, Philadelphia, Houston. Let's say hypothetically, right? Washington wins 3 of those 4. Carson, I think, is supposed to be back, hopefully before Thanksgiving. Hopefully. Taylor Heinicke, now should he remain the starter, right? Then it's going to be, let's say the Washington Commanders go the rest of the season with Taylor and then make the playoffs. Well, was it a mistake to trade for Carson Wentz? Should Taylor Heinicke have been the starter from week 1? Now, I have a question, because it's just one game. I'm not jumping on the hype train like everybody else. Let's say there's struggles. What is going to be the excuse? Because we can't keep saying Ron or Scott Turner or Jack Del Rio. Can't keep doing that. I'm playing devil's advocate. What's going to be the excuse? That's why I need to see at least. I need to see what it looks like. It's Indy and then Minnesota, Philadelphia, and Houston before I go, okay, you got me convinced. Other than that, it was a great win. The defense, I think, should definitely get its flowers, because coming into this game, we were ranked 21st. And, again, not having Chase Young there, I think definitely makes a difference. But for the most, it's been a don't been. There has been some disappointments. But up until Chicago, they didn't have a sack or interception. And I think they had the fumble recovery. And then when you hold Green Bay to under 250 yards, you got to give Jack Del Rio and his defense credit. Now let's see how you can build on that success. I'm not sold on Indianapolis right now. I feel like the signing of Matt Ryan gives me Philip Rivers vibes the year they signed him. I really think the Indianapolis Colts have not recovered from Andrew Luck retiring. I'm sorely convinced on that point because Matt Ryan, no disrespect to Matt Ryan, Hall of Famer. It's giving Philip Rivers vibes. No disrespect to Philip Rivers, but no. So, do I think this is a turnaround? It's a step in the right direction. I mean, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. We won 2 games in a row. 2 games is a sample size. We still got plenty of football. But like I stated, Indianapolis is going to be interesting. Like, I want to see what they look like against Indy and Minnesota for facing Philadelphia. Like, I think having Taylor in there, it definitely did insert. Did he lead him in place? I believe so, he did. But I'm just saying that's what the signing gives me. It just feels like Philip Rivers 2.0, in my opinion. As I was saying, yes, I think Taylor's energy definitely made a difference. Even though your 2 best weapons last couple of weeks have been sidelined with injury, like I'm sorry. I just think some of the things before these 2 games, there are a lot of factors, and I'm not going to put all that on Carson Wentz's shoulders. I just feel like the narratives on Carson are going to come out. I know it's coming because it's going to happen. If we beat Indy and Minnesota, we're 4-0. Oh, should we have made Taylor? I already know it's coming. I know it because I can read it like a book like that. That's just me. So it was a great weekend for me because not only did the Ravens win, but the Commanders won. The Maryland Terrapins are bowl eligible since 2001. The New York Yankees got swept. What else happened? Oh, the Washington Wizards, even though they lost Sunday, they're off to a good start. They're 3-1. The Capitals won that weekend as well. Oh man, it was just a beautiful weekend. I woke up Monday feeling great, even though that team in Dallas. I'll answer that question. But other than that team in Dallas, and yeah, it just was a beautiful weekend for me. And I also finished 500 in fantasy football. Particularly, I did beat somebody that did beat me in the playoffs last year for the Let's Talk Fantasy Football fantasy league, and I kind of got some revenge. So I just felt great this week. It's been a great week so far for me. What's this here? So what has changed in this win versus all of Carson's losses? I think it's been the same. I just think a lot of it, this question is a bit deceptive because Carson's losses, that's not fair. I'm not going to put all that on Carson's shoulders like that. That's not fair. Like, a lot of it also, too, was mistakes offensively. Like, when you have a depleted offensive line, when you allow your quarterback to get sacked 9 times against Dallas, or when Dallas takes away your number 1 wide receiver and you're not making adjustments to get others involved, when your defense is giving up a certain amount of yards. There's other X factors into Washington losing. That's not on Carson's shoulders. That's just my opinion. I don't think that's fair to place all the blame on his shoulders like that. Now, if it was Taylor, I just feel like there's excuses for him. That's just me, from what I've seen. So what has changed as a whole? So what was changed? you think it'll change as a whole. I just think that it was a home game. It was more energy, and they were ready to play. The Green Bay Packers coming in this game, they struggled. That's how I look at it. If Carson Wentz was out there, I feel like they would win the game. It's like that's just how I look at it. So I mean, he came in there, the team looked energized, they were motivated. It's a home game. The crowd was behind them. Yeah, there was a lot of cheeseheads there, but when you're at home, it's more positive reinforcement. You got your friends, you got your family in the crowd waving to say hi. People want to support you. That's how I see it. So, yes. Other than that, man, actually, you know what? What I was just talking about brings me to my last segment of the podcast. That was actually my final message talking about the weekend. So I'm just going to go ahead and play it.
Incoming message.
That was actually my final message talking about Maryland Ravens command, all winning. Beautiful weekend. That was actually my final message. Yeah, man, as the week progresses, just take time for yourself. Also, too, if you find something that's taking your attention away from something that you're doing, taking your focus, take a step back. I think that's the key. Sometimes it may be hard for some people to see that. When you take a step back and you kind of evaluate certain things and going, okay, maybe I need to take away this instead of adding this. If you see where you can devote time, effort, and energy into things, things would be better. That's just my final message. But until then, I'm going to continue to enjoy the rest of my Wednesday. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. The Maryland video will be pre-recorded. Shout out to Sean Spencer. Thank you for being a part of the podcast. I believe Washington Football Weekly will be on this evening with Sean Spencer and Will Kramer at 8 o'clock this evening on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Check them out if you hadn't already. Great show, great conversation. But until then, please like, comment, subscribe, be tuned for future episodes. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, evening. Peace.
But I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. Thanks for the kind words. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk.
What kind of shit is that?